Okay, so I'm outside and my air conditioning's going inside my house and it's kind of really loud, so I hope that you guys can't hear it in the video, but I really want to film outside because it's like 90 degrees and it's just really nice and I'm bored of filming inside. And I'm also standing, which I've never did a talking video standing, but I didn't want to move a chair over here because all the chairs we have outside are really hot. So with all that being said, it's me, Chloe. I'm back. I'm filming another video. Kind of been on a roll, and I'm proud of that because I've been really bored during quarantine. So making YouTube videos is just something for me to do to pass the time, and I feel like they're helping you guys out. So today I'm gonna make another Cal Poly video, and I decided I wanted to make a list of all the Cal Poly SLO stereotypes and stuff like that, and I wanted to talk about them and kind of give maybe incoming freshmen the truth about Cal Poly. Just some stuff from me who's a first year, and obviously I haven't experienced everything at Cal Poly because, you know, I only gotta live there for 6 months, but I feel like I'm pretty well versed in all things like student life. Yes, the air conditioning went off. I know a good amount about academics and stuff like that, so I decided just to write down a bunch of things that I thought were Cal Poly stereotypes or infamous Cal Poly things, and I just wanted to talk about them, and hopefully this video helps any of you guys who are prospective students or just already committed coming here next year. Also, I clearly have been getting a lot of sun and these tan lines are just okay, summer. So I'm just gonna prop my phone up and read off of the things that I wrote, and then I'll just elaborate and talk about them a little bit. And these are just my opinions. This has been my experience living in the dorms for 2 quarters and just the friends that I've made and the people I've met. So everyone can have their different experience, but this is just what I think. I need to not squint. I'm not even in the sun and I'm so the first thing I wrote down is everyone an engineer? And I know that Cal Poly kind of has a reputation for being an engineering school because we're a polytechnic school, and definitely engineering is I think our biggest program there. You'll meet a lot of engineers, but short answer, no. Everyone's not an engineer. Clearly I'm not. No one in my friend group is an engineer. Obviously there's people who were in my dorms who are engineers, and I knew plenty of engineers, but it's not as many as you would think. Obviously if you were an engineer, I'm sure you would become friends with a lot of engineers just because they're in the same classes, or maybe you choose that living community for dorming. But I definitely didn't feel out of place. Everyone's you're a liberal arts student at an engineering school, and I'm yeah, but I don't really feel that out of place. Obviously when you go on tours of the campus, they're oh, here's our engineering buildings and stuff, and they don't really focus on the smaller majors, but all you have to do is ask or just research a little bit more. And with that being said, all of the engineers I do know, majority of them are different types of engineering. You're not just all engineers. There's electrical engineering, civil engineering, industrial engineering, all that stuff, and they're all different. So not everyone is an engineer, and honestly a lot of these YouTube videos, the kids aren't engineering majors. If that's your concern about not fitting in or something, you really don't have to worry about that. So the next point I wrote down was, is the food really that bad? And funny enough, I actually got an Instagram DM 2 days ago from a girl who was okay, is the food really that bad? And it is very bad. There's just no variety and there's no flavor. Everything's just very bland, and the first couple weeks you're oh god, this is awful, I don't know how I'm gonna survive off this, but obviously you have to make do with what you're provided, and there's the campus market, so you can cook if you want. I didn't do much cooking because we didn't have any kitchens in my dorm. We had to go to the building next door, but you just have to learn how to sample from the buffet. Not actually there is no really buffets. We have one buffet and it's 805, which is not good. Contrary to popular belief, 805 kitchen is not good food. Try the different things. If there's food trucks, if there's any sort of pop-up tents outside that are offering some sort of different dining, try it. Yeah, it's just about variety and finding things that you like, but definitely don't be expecting gourmet food like UCLA. Just don't expect that at all. Before you move in fall, just enjoy all the home-cooked meals and eat out at your favorite places because you're not gonna find that on campus. Oh, and I forgot to say at the beginning of the video, I want to try and incorporate pictures and videos I have of each of the topics that I'm talking about. So if you see videos and pictures popping up every so often, that's just me trying to give you an idea of what to expect, because I feel it's easier to understand things when you see them. Okay, so the next thing I wrote down is everyone an Aggie? Which I don't really understand the full definition of this word, but basically what I concluded from being there was oh, that person's an Aggie. It meant they're usually like a agriculture student or like kind of a cowboy or like stuff like that. And like there definitely is a lot. You'll walk around and like obviously I don't fit in with that crowd. As you can tell, I'm wearing like a tube top and like I'm not a cowgirl, but you'll just like be walking around and you'll see these kids at 8 a.m. wearing their boots and their jeans and their big cowboy belt buckles, and there's line dancing, which I can't even lie, I've been line dancing. It wasn't my thing, but I've been.
Yeehaw! Go off, motherfuckers. Yes!
Definitely like the kind of cowboy country style, like it's definitely prevalent in SLO, and like we're surrounded by a lot of farms and stuff, so it like makes sense. But like those type of people aren't your crowd. You don't have to hang out with them. I don't really hang out with any Aggies. I'm not an agriculture student, so like it makes sense. It's kind of surprising because we're on the central coast of California, but like country music is very popular. Line dancing, you can ask my roommate Ariadne, she loves line dancing. Jacob loves line dancing. It wasn't my thing, but if that's your thing, you'll find your people and you'll love it, and if not, you don't have to worry about it. So my next point has to deal with politics, so this should be a fun discussion. Is everyone Republican? I think when I first heard of Cal Poly SLO, I didn't expect it to be like majority Republican or anything. I was like, oh, I'm sure it's super democratic. It's in California, it's in the central coast, it's like agriculture, stuff like that. But I shortly learned that like it has a reputation for being mainly Republican. But just like any other college, I feel like you get a variety of both. If you align yourself with one party, obviously you're going to become closer to people that are probably in the same party, or you're going to want to get involved with stuff that's in that party. And if you're not super involved in politics, like you don't have to get involved. But I'm not Republican, and I didn't really have an issue with like walking around and them being like, oh my gosh, come join the Republican Party. I didn't have that issue. And like where I grew up and like where I live now, like there's a lot of Republicans, but like I've never had anyone like persuading me to like join one political party, and I don't worry about that at SLO either. So like whatever your political affiliation is, keep doing your thing. Like don't worry if anyone like seems like, oh my god, if you go to Cal Poly everyone wants to vote for Trump. You get a variety, you get the whole spectrum, so you don't have to worry about that. Okay, so my next point, I think I got kind of lazy with this list because the next bullet is just WOW, which if you don't know, WOW stands for Week of Welcome, and basically it's like freshman orientation, and we have SLO days, which is over the summer, and it's not mandatory to go to, but I went and like most people go. It was really boring. I have a vlog about it. It's like just to get like all the business stuff out of the way, and your parents can go, and it's low-key really expensive, but it's to get all the business stuff out of the way. It talks about study abroad, it talks about like school policies, like stuff like that, programs. But basically WOW, so you move in about 5 days before the first day of school. So like we moved in on a Saturday, school starts on a Thursday, and I think it's like that always. Saturday is move-in, Sunday WOW starts, like 8 a.m. you meet your WOW group. And I honestly can't stress this enough. WOW was one of the best experiences I've ever had, and Cal Poly is like known in the country, I think, for having like #1 student orientation, like stuff like that. And obviously I'm a little bit biased because I think WOW was really great, and I'm training to be a WOW leader next year with Nico. Shout out, he's my co. But yeah, I don't want to talk about WOW too much because it's truly like one of those experiences where like you have to want to make the most out of it. Like you don't have to show up to WOW, like none of it's mandatory except the academic day, which is like to meet with your college and stuff. But like you could be lame and you could not go to the fun stuff, but I went to every single thing, of course, and that's how I met Nico, and it's literally so much fun. You don't stop, because the purpose of WOW is to like get you like meeting new people and like situated in your new home, but it's also to like I think avoid people from getting homesick, because literally Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, those 4 days, you are with your WOW group 24 hours pretty much. Like you literally wake up at like, you know, 9 a.m, you go do stuff with them, and then you're back at your dorm at like midnight. And then Thursday's school, Friday they did stuff like later in the day just in case you have classes, and then Saturday's the last day. And it's so much fun. Not every group does the same activities. Like you probably saw, we went kayaking, some groups went paintballing, but WOW is honestly like the best experience, and that's just like, obviously that's not going to persuade you to go to the school, but like it's a little added like cherry on top because it's just so fun. Okay, so my next topic is Greek life, so sororities and frats. And since I'm not in a sorority, I guess I have like an outside opinion. I know a good amount about them because Abby's in a sorority and I know a good amount of people in frats, and I've been to frat parties and I've been to sorority things also. I went with Abby to her date party in her semi-formal. Greek life is obviously not as big at Cal Poly as like UCLA. Like when I went, I'd never been to the school before, but we drove past like the frat houses and they're like insane, like $1 million houses, like honestly, probably. And clearly you can tell like Greek life is like really influential in their social life at UCLA. But at SLO, it's a little more low key. You can be in a sorority, you don't have to, like no one's like persuading you or like making you like, oh, you won't get into parties unless you're in a sorority. I'm not in a sorority and I went to any frat party I wanted to get into, I went to. Personally, frat parties weren't my thing. I went to a good amount. I didn't go to like a ton. I did not go out every weekend. It could have been the ones I went to. I obviously haven't gone to every frat there is, but I'll definitely go to more next year. But I prefer just like hanging out in the dorms rather than like having to get all ready and then not leaving my dorm until 10 p.m. and then I could only last like an hour at the parties. Like after an hour, I'd be like, who wants to leave? Most of the frat houses are really gross and like the toilets don't have toilet paper and it's 90% girls, 10% guys, and you drink warm Bud Light and it's just like it's just not my favorite thing. However, I think everyone should go. Just go to at least one frat party and then you can see if it's your cup of tea or not. And especially if you know guys in the frat, it's obviously more fun because you can hang out with them, they can introduce you to their brothers, like stuff like that. But yeah, that's my opinion on Greek life at SLO. Okay, and then I wrote down parties and dorms. I kind of talked about parties. I mean, I'd say the main parties at SLO are frat parties. There's like clubs and stuff that throw parties as well, but you hear about those like the first week of school and then I never heard of them ever again. But yeah, honestly, you didn't hear from me, but dorm parties are better. If my RA is watching this, I had 6 parties and didn't get a write-up, so DM me if you need tips on how to do that because me and my roommates got away with a lot of stuff and we didn't get a single write-up, so. Next, I just wrote down sports. Cal Poly obviously isn't known for like having D1 football or anything because we don't, but we do have D1 sports. I don't remember which of our sports are D1. I think girls tennis, soccer. I don't know, I couldn't tell you. But basically regarding sports, I went to the first football game of the season. It was fun. It was really hot and like the place we were sitting was like directly facing the sun, so we left at halftime. But it was fun getting all dressed up and like there's like tailgates outside. They obviously are not as big as like USC, but it was fun. The energy is just really good and everyone's really stoked and you get to wear green. And I also went to the UCSB versus Cal Poly soccer game, which was honestly really fun. It's probably our biggest game, which is kind of weird because it's, you know, soccer. But yeah, everyone throws tortillas on the field. I did not partake in that, but it's like so crowded. It sold out, which like I didn't even think that was a thing. So I had to buy a ticket off StubHub. Even though I'm a student, I was just too lazy to pick up a free ticket at the box office that week. So I ended up paying $30 for a ticket on StubHub, which I will never do again because that was just a ripoff. But yeah, we went and that was super fun. That was 2 days after Halloween and it was a really good weekend. If you're looking for like a huge like game day like school, I wouldn't say Cal Poly is that. I would say, you know, TCU, Oklahoma, like those schools, like you go all out. You tailgate, you dress up really nice, but Cal Poly is like not that. Obviously, like regarding playing sports, we have like our, you know, our teams. I don't know what they're called. Collegiate? Is that the word? I don't know, but we have like Cal Poly women's soccer. You can be on that team, or you can be on club sports, which are like below that, and then you can do intramural, and there's like D1 intramural, D2, D3. I did D3 intramural co-ed soccer, and the teams were a lot better than we were expecting. We were like, oh, it's D3, and they were like, oh, Chloe, you play soccer, like I'm sure you can help us, and it'll be people equal to our skill. We had people on our team who have never played soccer, and I played soccer, and these people were so good, and I was like, sports are still really fun to get involved with at SLO, and if you're into football games, like we have football, so you can go to that, and you can do whatever you want. Okay, so that's all the points I wrote down because those were just the ones that I felt like I wanted to know the most about before I went to Cal Poly, or that I've been getting a lot of DMs about. And I know that there's a couple other people who have made videos similar to this, so I didn't want to talk about the same stuff that they did. But yeah, that's just my take on Cal Poly, the truth about Cal Poly, spilling the tea. I, once again, will say it, I love it. I miss you, baby. I miss Slow Town. I miss all the Slomies. This is all really cringe lingo that you will get if you go to Slow. But yeah, I hope you guys found this video interesting. Sorry if I looked at the viewfinder for a lot of this video instead of the lens. I'm like, you're on a ledge. My natural line of sight goes to the viewfinder, but I'm sorry about that. I hope you guys found this video interesting. And open house is this week at Cal Poly. I don't know when it's done. It might be done today. I don't know. You can check out virtual open house if you're interested in committing or if you're transferring or whatever. You can comment any questions, any video ideas, you can DM me, but don't forget to subscribe. And I have a bunch of videos about Cal Poly, and I used to vlog like in public when we were allowed to go outside, so check those out. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video, and I hope you're having a good quarantine and staying safe. In every single video go, yeah, and then do a really cringe smile after. So I don't really know how to end this, so I'm just gonna say, go Stangs, I love Cal Poly.
Right, hi bitches.